Fox News political analyst and our friend Gianna Caldwell is calling out a Miami, Florida restaurant after being asked to leave due to his conservative views. The restaurant, Paradis Books and Bread, writing on Instagram, quote, their behavior and their words made other folks in the space as well as us working very uncomfortable. We told them that our views don't align and that the language they were using was unwelcome in our space. Gianna wrote, taken for granted, and he joins us now. Thank you, Gianna. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us exactly what happened.
Well, first, Rachel, you know, this situation reminds me of something that MLK said in 1963, a very simple truth. He said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And what I experienced yesterday, me and some of my neighbors who I'm just getting to know, was an injustice. It was a grave injustice. Yesterday, as we were having breakfast at this particular location, which I had never been to, it was the suggestion of them to visit this particular place. One of the owners came over to the table and told us she had been listening to our conversation. We were not welcome there. And I said to her, I said, did I say something that was triggering to you? She said, no. She said, our politics aren't aligned. I'm one of the owners. I'm an owner here. I don't feel comfortable. You have to leave. So then I stood up, I walked out, and so did the rest of my group. Now, here's what we were talking about that was so problematic for this lady who happens to be white, I believe. I was talking to them as they were getting to know me for the first time about Fox News. They said, how do you like, working over at Fox News? I was talking to them about my values. They said, are you a conservative? I said, yes. In fact, I have a book called Taken for Granted, How Conservatism Can Win Back the Americans That Liberalism Failed. You should get the book. I talked to them about my brother. I was on Capitol Hill just the other week talking to members of Congress about violent crime in America and trying to get justice for my brother and other victims of violent crime. I also talked about progressive DAs and how they're exacerbating the crime issue across the country. This was so problematic to this lady that she told me that I needed to get out of her establishment. If this was not the Jim Crow South, I couldn't tell much of a difference. This is what they've done over the course of the years, and me being a black man, me saying that I'm a conservative, me having a conversation with these folks who did not mention anything about their politics. They didn't mention anything at all. It was only me, and this lady stared me down the entire time that I was in the restaurant. There's a target on the backs of people who happen to be black, who happen to be conservative, and it needs to come to an end, Rachel. This should not be the case at all. Ron DeSantis said in Florida, discrimination is not allowed, and I hope that they're going to look closely to what happened here at this restaurant.
Yeah, it certainly says a lot about the myth of liberal tolerance, and maybe, what's it called, the Paradis Book and Bread restaurant should move to Havana, Florida, where they love only one point of view and don't have tolerance for a diversity of opinions. Gianna, we love you. You can have breakfast with Fox and Friends anytime. We love you. And thanks for sharing that story, because they should be outed for their lack of tolerance. Gianna, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
You got it.